Okay, and so now comes part 4, called it part 3. Part 4. This is the return of the Holy Father. Now, again, I was asked to go on a vacation to Mexico. This time to facilitate the return of the Holy Father as a guardian incarnate, emissary, ambassador of both the Holy Mother and the Holy Father. But this time it was all about the return of the Holy Father. Now, Paramahansa Yogananda had spent quite a bit of time in Ajijic, Mexico at Lake Chapala, and he had laid down a beautiful grid that really supported me to go through what probably would have been too traumatizing to, for me not to end up in a mental institution if I had stayed in Portland. So I was asked to go to Ajijic. Now, cosmically, planetarily, in the end of January, I don't know the exact dates, but right around, I started feeling it on January 13th. I started feeling it. The Uranus Stargate shifted, the planet Uranus shifted on its rotational axis, which revealed several organic stargates in the eighth dimensional stargates, right? Really affecting that eighth dimensional metagalactic core where the negative aliens had their ruling headquarters over the whole Milky Way galaxy and beyond. And what happened was when this Uranus shifted a little bit on its rotational axis, it revealed those stargates, those organic stargates, which linked up rainbow bridges, which are also called Antakarana, back into the God worlds. I mean, it opened up this huge organic connection to the God worlds. Through this corridor, Holy Father stepped in right through that eighth stargate in Uranus, and he began a demolition of the entire AI control of the Milky Way galaxy, which is happening right now. Now, if you imagine like Godzilla coming through New York City, we are talking decimation, demolition, explosion, like ruthless explosion of all the AI computers, the supercomputers that have maintained negative alien AI control over our whole universal time matrix. He's just going in and unplugging everything. Now, okay, a little background. As a veil lifter and an emissary of Holy Father, which there's a whole team of us that really came to this planet as veil lifters, which means we're going to live lives, we're going to have karma that entrenches us in the AI and the satanic matrix. Because what it is to be a veil lifter is to actually embody everything you can of the darkness and then hold the guardian codes of full liberation and become a body through which your body becomes the hand that lifts the veil and restores the liberation of the entire human angelic blueprint. So as a veil lifter, I have been entrenched in the satanic matrix. For 40 years, I've had massive panic anxiety. I've been the poster child for loosh harvesting fear into the negative aliens for 40 years and working at the highest level to bring forth love, to connect to the God worlds, to do everything I can to bring relief to my human self while I'm out there, doing massive damage control and battles in return for the whole cosmos. But on the inside, as a human, very fragile, very vulnerable, suffering tons of fear, negative alien attacks, you name it. It's been 40 years of suffocation, trying to breathe, panic attacks, body ripped apart, body exploded in the night, astral eviction from the body, really hard to get into the body, really hard to breathe the breath. of the solar cosmic dragon that I am, suffocating, all was right here, like not able to exhale fully, not able to inhale fully. At a yoga class, people say, now take a deep breath, and I want to kill them. So anyway, a little background. I'm not going to answer this right now. I'm going to stop this call. So that's the background you need, right? So very entrenched in the AI satanic matrix. Now, right around January 13th, the Holy Father busts through Uranus and starts ripping out the entire satanic matrix. Well, now, this is my home matrix. This is my mother. This is the dark mother that I was raised in for many lifetimes, right? To be a veil lifter, you have to be in that satanic matrix pretty big. You have to have been in lifetimes being completely imprisoned and trapped in that matrix, off planet and on. So here, during those tortures, during satanic ritual abuse, what happens is they bond the soul to the dark matrix. They make it the mother of that infant that's being raped and tortured. So for me, that was my mother. That was my womb that I was most familiar with. And it was all my life support was being ripped out. And it was terrifying to say the least. And then I became sick, which lasted 1 month. And my healer friend who channels the angels of divine grace, she said, you're in a cocoon. And I didn't know what was happening on the planet. I didn't find out until a week ago when Lisa put the update in, telling us about Uranus, the Stargate. I didn't know. See, I don't know these things. I go through things at the human level, and then I'm told by Lisa what's really happening. So it's always, I'm blind until Lisa gives me all the intel. So in Ahihik, all I knew is I thought I was going for a vacation, and now I was very sick with an upper respiratory virus, and I was in bed. And everything familiar was being ripped out while I was going through this virus. Huge chunks of metal AI demolition killer software in my solar plexus was being vaporized by golden light. And I was up against it so hard on the night of January 16th. That was the big night. And I said, I'm going to need a fever to transform this thing. There's no way I can transform this thing without a virus. And then I got a virus immediately. I was like, thank you, virus. I think I would have died if I hadn't had help from that virus. The battle of Armageddon in me between the light and the dark was so freaking intense. Yeah, but the virus came and started burning it. Viruses are very high vibration. They help you transmute things that you could not transmute without a virus. With a virus, you can transmute them. They are great allies. If you have stuff to transmute that's beyond your higher self will probably bring you a virus. So I got a wonderful upper respiratory virus that put me in bed for my entire time in Ajijic, my whole trip in Mexico. And Divine Grace channeled to me the angels, and they said, this is for a higher purpose, beloved one. You will understand, very shortly what this higher purpose is, but you're being remade, and it's connecting to the planet. The planet is being remade. It's moving out of darkness and into light. Everything that has held the mother of fear in place in the human psyche is being removed. So I lived through it. It was terrifying. I started bringing in the love-based mother. I started orienting this part of my inner child toward the love-based mother, opening to goodness, letting go of fear, even though fear had been my mother, really starting to imagine a life without fear, with a new mother, a divine mother. And this is for the whole earth being ushered out of fear and into love, because the Holy Father was demolishing everything in the satanic matrix. And here's something super beautiful. I finally got well after 1 month. 1 month. And then I looked on my community updates, and on February 13th, Actually, even January, the end of January, there was an update talking about the return of the Holy Father, and another update in February talking about more and more of what's going on in Uranus and Neptune. From February 13th to February 15th, I was suicidal. I was in the worst darkness I'd been in a very long time. And I didn't understand why until Lisa told us that we were doing a clean out of the worst Antichrist, the most unbelievable entities, the most horrific things that we cleaned out of Neptune from the 13th to the 15th. So if looking back from February 13th to February 15th, you went through a real physical and mental crisis, that's why you were one of the solar Christed ruby or violet Templar dragons that we're cleaning out, along with the Merlines, all of the benevolent forces, the most powerful forces in the universe were in Neptune, clearing it out. And a lot of us solar Christed dragon, veil lifters were in there cleaning it out. So, and it was done on February 15th, suicide gone. I was fine. Didn't like it never happened. And that's when we evacuated Neptune. So unbelievable. Just we can't even understand, like, how can this be? We pulled out the supercomputer Kronos, which was responsible for the massive genocidal warring timelines on the planet, which we're still seeing completing in Gaza. Now, in Gaza, all those souls volunteered to be a part of the completion of the Armageddon timeline. So just to send gratitude. I know it's horrific what's happening in Gaza. Even in Yemen, the starvation, there are a lot of beings that are living out the end of the most horrific karma on this planet. And they're doing that in service to us moving forward. So it's amazing. It's amazing how courageous our human family is, and how coming to the story planet to play out these huge stories, just unbelievable. And of course, not just on Earth, in the whole cosmos, the whole Milky Way galaxy is resurrecting back into Andromeda, into the merge. We're not going to see this for thousands of years, but it's a much greater process that's happening in the whole cosmos. Planet Earth does seem to be a very important piece in the whole changing of power from the Antichrist to the Christ. It seems to be the planet where we're really duking it out down here, and it's affecting the whole cosmos. So, where was I? Holy Father is returning, and he's cleaning out the ninth dimensional Chronos layer of the Temple of Kemalohatea. He's unplugging Chronos, huge, massive supercomputer, wreaking havoc in creating Armageddon, torture, genocidal timelines that keep repeating, that never stop. Once that Chronos computer is destroyed, it's the end of war. So we're looking at the end of Satanism, the end of war, the end of the Antichrist, the end of the Vandals who stole the Christed blueprint and cloned it to create these phantom universes so they could have full power and immortality, basically. And top on the list of the predators are Enki, Elil, Thoth. I can go deep into those things, but basically, Enki promised to create a body from us for the human and angels when Tara was exploded. And instead of creating a body that would be habitable for us and terraforming the earth into an organic code, he cursed the code triple fold so he could have total control. And when the Taran angels came to embody on earth, they went into a lockdown prison in hell. So Enki has been one of the players that makes you want to, he's kind of the guy who set duality in place. And we wanted to experience this duality story planet, cosmos. It's been quite a wild ride, right? Never boring, very entertaining. If we didn't have an enemy and a protagonist, it'd be really boring. So, Enki and Elil and Thoth bastardizing the emerald CD plates, which held the Diamond Sun body instruction sets. Well, Thoth destroyed those. and cloned them into a 10D mathematics that would curse us forever. So thank you, Thoth, another great player in creating the context of duality. Elil, an assistant of Enki, who has done, yeah, you just have to be like, okay, all right, So basically, Holy Father, this is the end of the night, guys. It's the end of duality. We've done it. Been there, done that. The play has been so complete. We've built out duality and evil, antichristic, to its mass degree. And now comes the return, which really started on that alignment of Jupiter, Saturn, in the solstice, winter solstice of 2020. Like I said, I don't know if it's 2020 or 2021. I have to look that up. But that was really the moment. COVID on the planet was the invocation to the God worlds. Come back. Come back. We've gone so far wrong. We need help. And the God worlds answered that call through the portal of 2020, I think it was. And so the mother came first, and now comes the Father. Finally, by 2023, we clear out enough that the Father can get in here. And he's the one who has the power to demolish everything that is not of the Christ, of his Son. And Yeshua, his Son, in the 8th dimension of Kemelohatea, he and Mary, now through the Holy Father's return, are able to send the codes that begin the build out of the Diamond Sun body, right? I told you, right? I started my webinar teaching, okay, path cutting the Diamond Sun body. Well, I couldn't really give the webinar or create the community until the codes came to the earth. So it's just been on hold. But I believe through this April 8th eclipse and this April 20th Uranus conjunct Jupiter, we're going to have a massive infiltration of Holy Father codes. And the instruction sets for the return out of the inorganic AI hybrid, death net, separated chakras, lockdown into fear-based, carbon-based reality is going to end. Because these neutrinos that are coming from the sacred marriage of Yeshua and Mary and the metagalactic core, these neutrinos are going to start giving our bodies the ability to get out of the 10D mathematics of the cursed tree of life and start accessing the true tree of life, which is a 12 tree grid. It's 12. The mathematics of 12 are of the Christ. The mathematics of 10 are of the Antichrist. This is why our speed limit is 55, 65. This is why our money is 5, 10, 15, 20. This is why everything is base 10 down here. The mathematics we were taught in school, death mathematics. We don't know what living mathematics are until the Holy Father brings the 12 base math back and all the sacred geometry that connects to the 12 base codes. The Fibonacci spiral, it is a fib of no chi. It is a lockdown of limited, finite, repeating patterns that keep us in fear-based reality. That entire thing is being pulled off by Holy Father, and the crystalline grid, which increases upon itself exponentially, expanding 0 point into ever greater joy. That's the human angelic home gasoline station that fuels superconductive light, ends death, brings immortality to the human body, right? The human body was not meant to die. That's part of the negative alien plan, so they can siphon loose, put us through torture, take us through reincarnation, and do it over and over and over again. Part of the story planet, right? It gives us a chance to experience all these different lifetimes, all these different traumas, all these different conflict, resolution, joy, redemption, beauty, unforgiveness, horror, hatred, whatever it is, right, is through reincarnation. So we can thank the negative aliens for cloning the Antichrist, creating the recycling of souls when they die back into more lives. It's just like, oh my God, we're supposed to go all the way back home. That's how it was set up by God, that you go all the way back home and you start out completely fresh and you never rack up karma. But it makes it more interesting, right? Because we racked up karma, which created different stories, and those different stories created more different stories. So it's actually made it pretty interesting to not go home to the Christ after we die, but be recycled back here for another story. News at 11, another after school special, another mini series like Roots. Anyway, we would have gone home if 9/11 hadn't happened in March of 2005. So 9/11 made everything way more interesting. It brought us into this process of a much deeper clean out of the Antichrist, of the whole universal time matrix. So the thoroughness that 9/11 brought us is pretty amazing, really. So really, this is where we are right now. We are waiting for the codes of Holy Father that begin the build out of our double diamond sun body. And most of us have been completely those ambassadors of the Holy Father that are veil lifters, that have been entrenched in the satanic matrix and carry, massive AI hybrid influence in our beings. We have to do that to be veil lifters, like I said, because you're going into the dark night. You're becoming the embodiment of the hand that lifts the veil. As your body returns back to divine blueprint, you path cut that into the planet so that those even entrenched in the deepest part of the satanic matrix, if they choose to, can make the path of ascension. A lot of them are going to choose no. It's too much karma to clear. You're at the airport, you got 25 suitcases before you can get on that plane. You say, no, I think I'll catch another plane. And what's really beautiful, this is ending up being quite long, 22 minutes here. What's really beautiful is Jason Estes is one of my favorite peeps, who talks about so many of the beautiful changes that are happening. Jason says that we're not, a lot of people are going to be leaving because they're not cut out to make this earth embodiment path cut return from an inorganic to an organic matrix build out in the DNA. This is huge. We're adding 8 protons, 8 neutrons, and 8 electrons. The atomic number for a carbon-based, fear-based body is 666. The atomic base for a crystalline-based body, 14, 14, 14. So basically, if you haven't been clearing trauma for many years, if you haven't been or come in with a body that had not very much dense karma, you're not going to want to do this. You're not going to be able to do this, right? It's just not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen for a lot of people. So a lot of people are leaving, but they're going to rejoin us after we've built out the new earth. So it's really beautiful. It's like just say see you soon. Because we down here, we're doing the grunt work. Those of us that are going through caterpillar, chrysalis, butterfly, it's quite a ride. And we're also building out the new earth as we do it, navigating the financial system as we do it. We're kind of like the courageous heroes that are actually staying on the planet as to bring the diamond sun body and the new earth. So a lot of people are gonna be like, no, sorry, no thanks. So guys, that's where we are. That's where we are right now. The neutrinos are going to start coming through that sacred marriage at the 8th dimension of Kemelohatea. And we will receive the Ma tone in the Rasha body of the earth. Lisa has told us that the Rasha body of the earth, which is the dark matter template of the earth, has the 2 tones. It has Ta and it has Ka, but it does not have Ma, because we are still mending the 8th dimensional layer in that metagalactic core. We're still evicting. Holy Father is still in the demolition and restoration of that 8th dimension. When that 8th dimension comes to a certain point of healing, the codes of the Ma are going to come into the Rasha body of the earth. When that happens, this is what Lisa says is so beautiful. Every soul on this earth will be lifted beyond fear-based reality. But a lot of people will leave before that Ma tone comes, because we will have done lots of work to be ready for that final uplift. And so this is where we are. Lisa doesn't know when the Ma tone will return. She doesn't know that, but she's telling us when it does, that's it. We're all lifted beyond fear-based reality. This is amazing stuff, guys. We're really in the final chapters of this great story of the darkness and the return to light. The return, the reclamation of our divinity as children of the one organic mind of love that created this whole beautiful, amazing trip. The return to our maker, made in the images of that maker in the diamond sun body. So living a life of unity and beauty and the prolific circulation of joy throughout our physical bodies and throughout our physical earth, all species of the animal kingdom living in this love, the end of predator prey, the end of animals eating each other, the coming of an incredible synergy of beauty and celebration. So that's where we're going. And we are in those final chapters. Watch for what happens on April 8th. Watch for what happens on April 20th. These are the two big dates that are coming, which should bring us a lot more Holy Father codes, enabling the build out of the Diamond Sun body. That's why I'm finally releasing my webinar and opening up my community to help lead those on the front line who are path cutting the embodiment of the double Diamond Sun body. So everyone staying will go into that body, but the path cutters are the ones that are bringing it first so that the others can step into it. Okay, that is the end of part 4 here, and covered a lot of material. I'm going to make timestamps for each of these videos. In fact, I recorded this on my Otter app. Going to be a bit of work to do it, but I'm going to get these timestamps up and running. Okay, much love to all. Ciao for now. I'm here as your Ascension guide. I'm here as a trauma clearing specialist. I'm here to channel your higher self, your angels, your guides, your messengers, your teachers. I'm here to help you understand your place in the bigger picture. I'm here to help you gain clarity in some of the high strangeness of the Ascension symptoms, of the stories, the contracts, the very intense contracts that are unfolding and completing for us now. I'm here to help you, hold you through these times. Much love. You can find me at sarahhopeadams.com or just comment on this video. Much love to all.